This is Samsung's Galaxy Fold 3. The cameras in mine all don't work. This isn't a hardware issue, but rather Samsung has disabled the cameras via software. How has this happened? Well, let's find out. I've just picked up the Galaxy Fold 3, Samsung's most expensive phone, starting at $2,500 Australian dollars. Inside the rattling box is a few extra products that I got for free. As I pre-ordered the unit, I had a choice of 3 gift packs: the headphone pack, productivity pack, and the power pack. Ultimately, I chose the power pack as it contains a case, S Pen, and charging mat, which included a charger. It's time to crack open the box and see what's inside. Given just how thin the box is, I'm not expecting any accessories. Right up front and center is the Z Fold 3. Getting that out of the way, there's an advertisement for Samsung Care Plus and one little package in the center. With this being the only other item in the box, let's see what it contains. You'll find a SIM eject tool, USB-C to USB-C cable, and warranty information. That's it. Not even a charger. It's far from what I would have expected to see given how expensive this phone is. I'll unwrap it from its plastic wrap and power it up so we can get it set up and test everything out before we start experimenting. During the setup process, you'll also see this warning message which gives you outlines on how you should look after your incredibly fragile plastic display. With everything set up, we can have a closer look at the phone. Personally, I think this Fold looks better than its predecessors, but will it stand the test of time? Having a phone turn into a tablet is a great concept. However, folding displays are known to fracture and break under normal use. It'll be interesting to see how this model fares. However, I'm still not convinced with this folding technology. One important thing overlooked is repair pricing. I purchased a display for a Galaxy Z Flip which cost over $900 for the part alone. DIY repairs on these foldables are just not feasible. The manufacturer will likely do it for less. For this particular phone, it'll be $740 Australian dollars. Focusing our attention on the cameras, this phone is equipped with 5. From an out-of-box state, they are all working correctly. However, they won't be for long. Another thing to note is the high visibility of the under-screen camera, compared to the Axon 30 with its truly invisible camera. A common practice among Android users is to enable root access or flash a custom operating system onto their phone. However, this is where we start to run into issues. This process requires you to unlock the bootloader. This can be done by enabling developer options and turning on OEM unlocking. Proceeding, the phone can be put into download mode. Samsung has recently changed their key combination and process for doing this, but after some trial and error, I found you need to hold both the volume up and down buttons simultaneously while plugging the phone into a computer. If successful, you'll see a faint image on both the outer and main displays. For some reason, this mode only allows the display to run at minimum brightness, which makes it difficult to see what you're doing, or more importantly, what you're about to disable. Entering the device unlock mode by holding up the volume up button displays another faint screen. We have reached the Unlock Bootloader menu. However, there is some concerning information I've never seen before. It says proceeding will cause the camera to be disabled and may cause your phone or apps to stop working correctly. This process will also factory reset the phone. Of course, I wanted to see what would happen, so I pressed the volume up to confirm unlocking the bootloader. After the phone rebooted, we are greeted with a warning message stating the bootloader is unlocked. This is typical for an unlocked phone. However, there's an additional piece of information stating that the cameras are disabled. After the phone had finished wiping itself, I could once again proceed through the setup. This time I attempted to enable facial recognition. After setting a PIN code, I entered the facial recognition setup. While the pixels around the selfie camera turned off, the camera itself never switched on, so the display remained white. Forced to cancel the facial recognition, I could continue with the setup and run through everything on the phone to see what else isn't working correctly. As mentioned when unlocking the bootloader, the cameras would be disabled, and they weren't kidding around. None of the 5 cameras work anymore. Everything remains black, and after about 30 seconds, a message box appears saying the camera has failed. It's important to note, while the bootloader was unlocked, no software was flashed. This phone is still running totally stock Samsung software. With none of the cameras working in Samsung's own apps, let's try some third-party ones. I tried 2 alternative camera apps, one of which was made by Google. Both of these apps didn't resolve the issue and either remained on a black screen or crashed on launch. Other issues that arose from unlocking the bootloader was the Samsung Pass app no longer opening, Samsung and Google Pay blocking you from using the app, and Secure Folder not functioning, to which it states this is for security reasons. Of course, without any cameras, you also lose the functionality they bring to your device, including facial unlock, taking pictures, or scanning QR codes. However, despite all of this, the fingerprint reader works just fine. So despite paying $2,500, Samsung is able to disable all of my cameras just because I unlocked the bootloader. This phone reminds me of the iPhone 12 I took a look at in October of 2020, equipped with its own software-based locks deterring third-party repair. However, in the case of this Fold 3, I didn't even have to take it apart to enforce the restriction that Samsung has imposed on the device. However, the big question is, what happens when I relock the bootloader? This will be done in the same method as before and will once again require you to erase the phone. However, once it's completed, the warning message on boot has disappeared and all of the functions of the phone are working again, including all of the cameras and Samsung's security apps. It should be noted, if you flash your phone with custom software, the phone will trip a software-based fuse, causing the Samsung security apps to never function again, even after relocking the bootloader. So why would Samsung disable all the cameras when you unlock the bootloader? Well, the only reasonable explanation I can think of is the fact that the under-screen camera would suffer without Samsung's automatic processing, which is going on in the background. So if you flash your own custom operating system, you wouldn't expect the camera to perform very well because it's lacking all of that image processing that's going on when you take a picture with the selfie camera. But that doesn't explain why they disable all of the other cameras on the phone, which include the ones on the back and the selfie camera on the front. I believe putting a warning on there is sufficient. You don't need to disable all of the cameras on the phone simply because you might get a degraded experience. And some might argue that this was done for security reasons, but that wouldn't explain why the fingerprint reader on the phone still works even with the bootloader unlocked. Now, if you do install a custom operating system, you'll find that you won't be able to relock the bootloader. If you try, you'll end up bricking your phone and having to reinstall the original software. So if you are installing Lineage OS or some kind of jailbreak, you're going to have to deal with the fact that your Z Fold 3 won't have working cameras. It's a bit of a shame that it doesn't feel entirely like it's your phone. I mean, you can unlock the bootloader, which not even some other companies will allow you to do, but it's going to be at a degraded experience. You're not going to be able to use any of those cameras. And from what I understand, there's no way around this, as Android, the operating system on the phone, just doesn't even see the cameras even exist. So unless there's a way to get around it at the bootloader level, then you're going to be stuck with no cameras if you want to install your own custom operating system or jailbreak your phone. It's a shame to have seen this on the new foldable, especially since this thing cost me $2,500 Australian dollars, but I did it so you guys can be more informed about your purchases like this Samsung foldable. Check out the tear down and repair playlist where I cover these sorts of issues, as well as take apart devices to see just how repairable they are. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.